Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to this month's live Q&A. Um, I received a few questions, so I have about 11 questions to go over. And if you're watching this on a replay, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Um, if you'd like to be part of the live Q&A, there is a link in the video description where you can sign up so that you can send questions to me and be part of the Q&A instead of watching it on the replay. So let's go ahead and get started with the first question. So the first question I received was how to view a saved Wi-Fi password on your iPhone or iPad. And it will be you'll find it the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my iPhone so that you can see that. And let me show you how this works. You'll want to come in to the settings area on your iPhone, and then you'll want to choose Wi-Fi. Now, to see the password, you have to be connected to a Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the I next to the Wi-Fi I'm connected to, and underneath Auto Join, you'll see password. I'm going to click on that, and it's automatically going to copy that password to my clipboard so that I could text it to somebody if I needed to, or I could paste it into a notes or something to that effect. But that's how you view your Wi-Fi password on your iPhone or iPad. You just have to be connected to a particular Wi-Fi, and then you can see that password. Let me show you a way to share your Wi-Fi so that you don't have to copy this password. So if I come out of the settings app, now I'm going to show you another phone that isn't connected to Wi-Fi. And I'm going to go over to this phone and I want to connect to Wi-Fi at Ellen's house. So it says not connected. I'm going to tap on Wi-Fi and I'm going to wait for the networks to pop up. I'm going to choose the network that I want to connect to. And right away, you see that it's password protected. So now I'm going to bring you back over to my iPhone. And here you'll see that it says share password. So this is how you share a password from your Wi-Fi to someone else who you want to give access to while they're at your house. I'm going to go ahead and come back to that other shot so that you can see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and tap share password. And when I do, it copies it and automatically connects that person to the Wi-Fi. And on the iPhone, it looks like this. That also popped up on my iPad as well. So if you have two devices, it will pop up on both, and then you can share that password without ever having to remember it to give it to someone. So that's how to share a password and how to find your Wi-Fi password. All right, let's come on to question number 2. How can I customize or remove the default signature on my iPhone and iPad in Mail? So this time I'm just going to come over to my iPad so that you can see that. And on the iPad, you'll want to come in to the Settings app because that's where you're going to change the signature. So I'm going to come into the Settings app and I'm going to choose Mail, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says Composing, and I'm going to choose Signature. And as you can see right now, it says Sent from my iPad, and that is the default signature from Apple. but you can come into this area and change that to whatever you want it to be. You can also, if you have more than one mail account, so I'm going to click on per account, and you'll see that I have 4 different mail accounts. And so you can change them. You might have 2. Maybe you have a work account and a personal account. Well, you can come in then and change the signature, or maybe you just want to erase it and get rid of it and not have a signature. This is where you would do that. So that's how to change your signature, and it works the same way on the iPhone. You go into settings, you locate mail, you scroll down to composing, and you find signature. Question number 3. How can I transfer a call from my Apple Watch to my iPhone? So sometimes you receive a call and the closest thing to you is your Apple Watch. And so you want to transfer the call over to your iPhone. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up my Apple Watch, and then I'm going to dial my phone from my home phone so you can see this. And you should see the phone begin to ring on both of the devices, I believe, maybe not. Up, it's telling me no, so let me try it again. Try this again. And there we go. So now you see that the phone is ringing on my phone and my Apple Watch. If I tap on the 3 dots next to the answer, it'll pop up answer on iPhone or sorry, I can't talk. I'm going to tap answer on iPhone. And what's going to happen is now it's come over to the iPhone, but it's on hold. You can see that on the Apple Watch. So if I tap up into where the green phone is, if I tap there, it's on hold. If I hit accept, now I'm connected on my iPhone. Another thing to know is that if you connect on your Apple Watch and you're talking to the person on your Apple Watch, the same thing applies. You can come onto your iPhone, tap in that green area up at the top where you see the green phone, tap on that, and then just choose iPhone and it'll automatically connect it. So that's how you transfer a call from your Apple Watch to your iPhone. Okay. Question number 4. How can I move a note in the Notes app to a smart folder when the smart folder is grayed out? Well, let me show you how to do that. That's a great question. So if I open the Notes app, you'll see that I have a bunch of folders on the left-hand side, and some of those folders are smart folders. The ones that have this little wheel next to them are smart folders. And let's say I have a note here that I want to move to a smart folder. So if I tap on the More icon, the circle with 3 dots, and I tap on Move Note, you're going to see that those smart folders are grayed out. I can move it to any other folder, but the smart folders are grayed out. So how do you get that over to that smart folder? Well, that's what these tags are all about. So if you've added tags to your folder to create a smart folder, what you need to do is come into your note, hit the hashtag, type in a hashtag, and then down below, you'll see the hashtags for your smart folders appear. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the store list, and what you're going to see is this is going to change from a 4 to a 5. So let me tap on store list. You'll see that it's changed to a 5. And if I tap on that, now you'll see that that note has been added to the store list smart folder. So that's how you're going to move a note into a smart folder. Just add the tag for that smart folder. And I have a video on the Notes app that talks about this, and I'll put a link to that in the video description. Okay, moving on to the next question. How can I alphabetize my folders in the Notes app? Another great question. So let's go back to our the Notes app on my iPad. This will also work on your iPhone the same exact way. So as you can see, we have our list of folders here on the left-hand side. And if I tap on the edit up in the top corner here, there is not an option to alphabetize your folders. Apple, for whatever reason, did not put that option in there. You can use these handlebars and drag them in the order that you want to see them, but there's no way to alphabetize them. So you can't alphabetize a folder, but you can alphabetize the notes in that folder. So let me tap on Done. And then we're going to go ahead and choose the Notes folder. And up here, above the Notes section, tap on the More icon. And then, as you see, I'll tap on Sort By. And the default is by date edited. But if you select Title, it will now put your notes in alphabetical order, ascending. If I tap on this again, and I tap on Sort By, I can also go in and change that to descending. So I can reverse the order if I want. And that's how you would get your notes into, an alphabetical order in the Notes app. I'm sorry that you can't do it in folders, but for some reason, Apple hasn't allowed that. Question number 6. Whoops. What is safety check? So safety check is new in iOS 16 on your iPhone. And to get to it, you just need to come into the Settings app, scroll down until you see Privacy and Security. Scroll down towards the very bottom, and you're going to see this option for Safety Check. And what Safety Check is it allows you to remove people or apps or passwords, remove the permissions for those things. So Apple put this out for people that may be in a relationship that went south, and now this person has access to things on your iPhone or iCloud, and you want to remove their access. So it works in the Find My app. It works in apps. It works in photos if you have shared photos. So let me show you a little bit about it. So you can choose emergency reset, and that is a bomb. It gets rid of everything. It removes the permissions for everything and everyone. Or you can choose to manage. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tap on manage. And so right now it takes you to the manage sharing and access, and it tells you what you're going to review. You're going to review people that have access, apps that have access, and then your account security. So I'm going to blur out some information that I have here. So in this first one, these are things that you're sharing with people. And in this particular list, I'm sharing photos with people. Well, I can tap on any of those circles next to a name, and then when I do, it'll say review sharing options, and then I can revoke that from them. So if there's people on that list that you don't want to have access to your photos, you can go ahead and remove them. I'm going to uncheck that for now, and I'm going to say skip. And now it brings me into photos, and I have one shared album. And so I could tap on that, and then it would remove that sharing option. And so I wouldn't be sharing that album with anybody. I'm going to skip that. And now it's telling me that step one is complete. And we're going to move on to step two. And the next part is app access. So when you download an app, it immediately asks you to give access to it. Things like your microphone, your camera, those types of things. So I'm going to just tap on this Smart Life so that you can see what it has access to. So it has access to Bluetooth, location, microphone, HomeKit, my local network. And the reason it does is because it's a smart app that I use to turn on lights, and it needs that access to work. But go through these apps and see what apps you can remove that don't need access to everything. I'm going to go ahead and tap on back. I'm going to remove the check mark, and I'm going to say skip. And now it tells me that we've reviewed the apps, and so now we're going to move into account security. When I tap into account security, it's going to give me all of my devices that are in the Apple ecosystem. And maybe you go through this and you see a device that you're no longer using, and maybe you just forgot to remove it. Well, here you can go ahead and tap on it and remove that device. I'm going to uncheck that and tap on skip. And now it's allowing me to update my Apple ID. And in this case, you just tap into it and it allows you to create a new password for your Apple ID. Your Apple ID is kind of like your Social Security. It's your identity for Apple. So you really don't want to change your Apple ID, but you do want to change your password every once in a while for security reasons. So you could come in here and change your password if necessary. I'm going to go ahead and say update later. And then the next thing you come to is emergency SOS. And this is the emergency contacts that you've put in that will be notified if you have a severe car crash or take a hard fall. So if you have an iPhone 14 Pro and you're in a car accident, the phone knows it and it's going to notify your emergency contacts. If you take a hard fall and you have an Apple Watch or a phone on you, it's going to notify your emergency contacts. Well, if there's someone on this list that you no longer want to be an emergency contact, you can remove them from the list, or you can also add a new emergency contact from here as well. The next option is to update your device passcode. So you would enter your old passcode, create a new one, and then you would have a new device passcode. So if somebody knows your passcode, change it so that you're the only one that has access to your passcode. I'm going to go ahead and tap skip, and now it's telling me that the safety check is completed. So it's a good idea to take a look at this and just make sure that you've given access to only the people and the apps that you want to have access. When you're finished, go ahead and tap on done. So that's what safety check is all about. So now we're going to talk about how to turn off always on display on the iPhone Pro 14. If you don't have an iPhone Pro 14, this doesn't apply to you, but if you do, this is where you need to do it. So In iOS 16 on the new iPhone Pro, there's an always on feature. The display is always on. It dims, but it remains on at all times. So if you come into the settings, main settings area, and you scroll down until you see display and brightness, tap on that, scroll down a little bit, and you will see an option for always on. I believe the default is on. So if you want to turn that off, just come in here to the settings, display and brightness, and toggle off this switch for always on. Question number 8. What is lockdown mode used for? That's another new feature on the iPhone in iOS 16. So let me come back, and you're only going to find it, I believe, on your iPhone. So come into the iPhone, come into the Settings app. Make sure that you're on the main settings page, and then scroll down to Privacy and Security. Scroll to the bottom and you'll see locked on mode. And you can read about it, but basically what it is, if you're under a cyber attack, and this is not going to be most people, but if something were to happen and you were under a cyber attack, you could turn on lockdown mode. And what it would do is it would severely limit the function of your phone. So like somebody couldn't send you a attachment in your email. It would be strictly limited, for security. So some things you wouldn't even be able to access. So although you may never need this option, Apple has built it into iOS 16. Question number 9, how to save an email to the Notes app. So that's another great question. And it's not something that can be easily done, but let me show you how it can be done. So right now, I am going to bring up the email app. Whoops. And place it side by side so it's in split view. Um, so on the left, we have the Notes app, and on the right, I have the Mail app. So to move an email from the Mail app to your Notes app, go ahead and create a new note. You can drag it in to a note that's already created, but I'm going to go ahead and create a new note by selecting the new note option. And then the other thing you have to be sure of is that the mail that you want to move has been opened. So now that that has been opened, I can push and hold on the email and drag it over, and you'll see a plus sign next to the little box, and I'm going to drop it. And what you'll see happen is that a link was created. And so what this allows you to do is if you receive emails that maybe you want to get back to at another time and follow up on that email, you can put a link to that email in the Notes app. And so if I go to, let's just say I go to another email, but I want to get back to this particular email, if I go into the Notes app and I click on it, you'll see that it immediately takes me to that email. So that's how you can add an email to the Notes app. You could also copy and paste text from that email into the note so that you know what the email is referring to. But basically, that's how you move an email into the Notes app. Let me show you this on the iPhone because it's not as easy to do on the iPhone. So if I come into the Mail app and I just open it, and I'm going to go ahead and just tap on another email, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to grab that email with my finger, and you'll see it's moving around now. You can see I'm dragging it up and down. And now I need to swipe out of Mail, tap on the Notes app, and I think what I'll do is I'll create a new note down in the bottom corner, and then I can just drop this, and now that email link has been dropped into a note. And if I want to get back to it, if I just tap on that link, it'll take me right back in to that email. So that's how you do it on your iPhone. It's a little bit easier on the iPad, but that's how to drag an email into your Notes app. Question number 10 is how to enable haptics on the iPhone keyboard. So let me swipe out of mail, and now we're going to come into the settings area. Make sure you're on the main settings page. Find sound and haptics. Tap on that. Scroll down until you see keyboard feedback, and right now it says none. Tap on that, and you have an option to toggle on sound and haptic. So if you toggle on sound, that's when you hear the click, click, click when you're typing out, your emails or your text messages. So if you don't like that, you can toggle that switch off. And then the haptic toggle, if you toggle that on, what you'll feel when you type on the keyboard is kind of a little vibration underneath your fingers or thumbs. So if you prefer that and you want to kind of feel that, then you can toggle that on. I have both of these off. I don't use either one, but some people like that haptic feel, and so this is where you would toggle that switch on. And we're at our final question. How can I find my iPhone with my Apple Watch? So let me bring up the Apple Watch. So the Apple Watch has a control center just like the iPhone does, and you swipe up from the bottom to get to it. And you'll see that there is a little iPhone with sound circles on the outside. And I believe when I tap it, you'll hear my phone ring. So that's a great way to use your watch to locate your phone if you're having a hard time finding it. If you set it down in the house somewhere and you just can't locate it, you can use your watch to locate your iPhone. So that's it for today's live Q&A. I hope you'll join me next month for another Q&A. I've decided that these will always be, or at least hopefully, will always be on the last Tuesday of the month, and they'll always be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to send out a subscription calendar to the people on my email list so that you can just click on that. And when you want to get to the live, you'll just go to your calendar, click on the event, and the link will be there. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.